Hello, Assalamu alaikum. How are you all? Can you hear me? Okay. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Okay, beta, this is your reinforcement lecture, and I will discuss with you the objective resolution and fall of East Pakistan in detail. So open your book, page number 39. First of all, we will discuss the topic objective resolution. Then we will discuss about the fall of East Pakistan. You have to underline the important lines and especially important dates and events. If there will be any date, so you can underline these specific dates for the preparation your exams. Is it clear? So let's start. Beta Zimel, turn off your camera, and Fatima. Fatima and Jimal. Thank you so much. Okay, this is the name of your topic, objective resolution and fall of East Pakistan. Okay, first of all, what is the objective resolution? So, in the history of constitution making in Pakistan, the objective resolution is an important document and a basic step to frame the constitution. It was approved on March 12, 1949. In this resolution, Islam was declared as the foundation of the Constitution of Pakistan. So there are three or four most important things. If you can see the slide, you can see that first of all, it is discussed in this paragraph that in the history of constitution making in Pakistan, the objective resolution um, is an important document and a very basic step to frame the constitution. It means objective resolution is a basic document. If I will ask you the question that what do you know about the objective resolution, this will be the specific answer for the question. Is it clear? So this paragraph is a very specific answer for your question. So in the history of constitution making, when Pakistan came into being, I told you then there at that time there was no any type of constitution or rules or regulations. So the government of Pakistan first of all decided to follow the Indian Act 1935, and I have told you about Indian Act 1935 in detail in the physical classes as well. So they decided to impose the decided to approve the Indian Act 1935 first of all, and and they started to discuss about the constitution making, and they thought that there was a framework or there will be a document in which they took the steps to frame the constitution. So I repeat, first of all, the government of Pakistan, when Pakistan came into being, the government of Pakistan in 1947, they approved the Indian Act for the rules for to follow the rules, and they approved the Indian Act 1935 in 1947. Then within 2 years, they decided that they will start with a document in which the basic steps will be taken to frame the constitution. Is it clear? So within 2 years after the freedom of Pakistan, after Pakistan came into being, within 2 years, they framed the document like objective resolution. Is it clear? So Pakistan came into being in 1947, and within 2 years, in March 12, 1949, they approved a document which consists of the basic rules and regulations, or you can say that was a document which was based on the basic steps to frame the constitution. So I told you it was approved on March 12, 1949. So this is very important date. You have to underline these dates. In this resolution, Islam was declared as the foundation of the Constitution of Pakistan. So, very first step which was taken, it was that the Islam was declared as the foundation of Constitution of Pakistan. Why? Because Pakistan came into being at the name of with the name of an ideology with an ideology, and that ideology was that which was based on Islam. So it was obvious that in this resolution, Islam was declared as the foundation of Constitution of Pakistan. It means all the laws in all the constitutions will be made according to the Quran and Sunnah. So, is it clear? Any uh, any question regarding to this topic? Okay, Fatma, no problem. Sania, beta, check your device. Okay. So if you, it is a tip for you that if you will point out the important lines in every topic, like 1, 2, 3, and if you will give the numbers to every topic, so it will be easy for you to learn this topic. As I told you that, okay, Sanya. So, as I told you that in the start of my lecture, that this specific paragraph having three or four important lines or important topics, or if you will learn through this method, so you will learn the PST very clearly and your very easily, and your concepts will be cleared, inshallah. Okay, now we will discuss about the salient features of objective resolution. First of all the power, all the sovereignty belongs to Almighty Allah. It means all the this world belongs to Allah. Allah Almighty is the creator of this world. So all the powers over the entire universe belongs to Almighty Allah, and the political power is a sacred trust which shall be which will be performed, or which shall be performed by the specific representatives, or the by the specific government within the limits prescribed by the Islam. So if you will underline the most important lines in the salient features, there are almost six salient features of the objective resolutions. The objective resolution. So if you will give the headings like me, you can say see in the slide. So if you will underline or you will make the headings of all these 6 specific salient features of objective resolution, so it will be easy for you to learn this most important question. Is it clear? So you can underline or you can give the headings to the salient features like me, or you can see in the slide also. So all the power belongs to Almighty Allah. It means that the government or the representatives of the people who are administrating the government or running the government, those are all those powers are the are belong to Almighty Allah. So all the power belongs to Almighty Allah, and all the representatives of an Islamic country, especially, are performing their duties according to the Holy Quran and Sunnah, and also will perform their duties according to the Islam. Is it clear? So इसमें यही बताया गया है कि तमाम दुनिया में ताकत का सरचश्मा अल्लाह ताला की ज़ात है, और जो ताकत है, जो गवर्नमेंट चलाने की ताकत है, जो एक पावर होती है, वो पावर बेसिकली इंसानों की नहीं है, वो अल्लाह ताला की एक अमानत है जो हुकूमती नुमाइंदे या हुकूमत अपने पास एक अमानत के तौर पर रखेंगे, और उसको बिल्कुल उसी तरह से अकॉर्डिंग टू द इस्लाम अपनी ड्यूटीज़ को परफॉर्म करेंगे. So next one, the principles of Islam shall be enforced within the country. Exactly, when there will be the constitution according to the Quran and Sunnah, when the representatives of the government will perform their duties according to the Islam, then obviously the principles of Islam shall be enforced within the country. So and what are these principles? And what are these principles of Islam? The principles and concepts of democracy, equality, and social justice. Is it clear? So these are 3 basic principles of Islam which will be conducted in the country through the government. So what is meant by democracy? I told you that government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Is it clear? So, and equality, everyone in an Islamic society is equal. Is it clear? He or she has equal rights. So, equality means everyone in the country. यस यस बिल्कुल बिलाद, उर्दू में इसे जमहूरियत ही बोलेंगे. सो इक्वलिटी मीन्स एवरी वन विल बी equal in the Islamic society, and social justice means everyone has a right in our society, and whether he or she is Muslim or non-Muslim. Is it clear? So the principles of Islam shall be enforced within the country. And what are these principles? There are 3 basic principles or concepts of Islam, which are democracy, equality, and social justice. Is it clear? So next one, all the laws shall be according to the Holy Quran and Sunnah. So we already discussed it that everything will be according to the Quran and Sunnah. So Muslims shall be enabled to lead their individual as well as collective life in accordance with the principles set in the Holy Quran and Sunnah. So everyone um, either he or she is individual, or either we will if we will discuss about the collective lives of the community or society in an Islamic country. So all the laws shall be according to the all the people will uh, has will live their lives, will live according to the principles of Holy Quran and Sunnah. Next one, the rights of the minorities shall be protected. Obviously, Islam is a code of life, and Islam tells us about the rights, about the human rights, and also Islam tells us about the rights of the minorities. So, in an Islamic country, it was written in the, and it is also written in all the constitutions, that the rights of the minorities shall be protected in any cost. Is it clear? So you can see in your book, the rights of the minorities shall be protected. They will have the freedom to follow their religion and promote their own culture. So all the minorities which are living in our country, and they can live according to their religion, they can live according to their customs and traditions, and they have a right to promote their religion, and also to protect their traditions and perform their religious activities according to their religious and traditional or point of view. Is it clear? So, fifth one is Pakistan shall be a federal state. So, I told you in my physical classes in detail what is the meaning of federal state. So, Pakistan shall be a federal state. What is meant by federal state? The provinces will enjoy the power within the limits mentioned in the constitution. So all the provinces will perform their duties, all the governments of the provinces will perform their duties according to their needs, and according to their uh, regional traditions, and but they will not forget the rules of the basic principles, concepts, and rules of the Islamic society, and they will perform their duties within the limits which are written in the constitution. So there will be a federal government, and there will be the governments of the provinces, and all the provinces are independent in their duties, but within their limits, and these limits are written in the constitutions today, and also these limits were written in the objective resolution. Is it clear? And last one, the judiciary will be independent. What is meant by judiciary? What is the meaning of judiciary? Yes, Adliya. Very good, Bilal. Yes, judge. But you can say the courts, यानी हमारी जो अदालतें हैं उनको हम कहेंगे अदलिया। ठीक है, उर्दू में इसे हम अदलिया बोलेंगे, और इस तरह से हम वैसे इसे ओवरऑल जुडिशरी बोलते हैं। यस, इज इट क्लियर? यस, यस, अब्दुल रहमान। Specific word in Urdu is adliya. It means the place where the judges will decide the, or where the judges will take the decisions actually. So all these process and all the institution, all these institutions are called adliya. Not like that बेटा मायदा, आइन से होता है ये, आइन दाल। ठीक है। Is it clear? Okay. So judiciary will be independent. Judiciary will be independent, and the basic rights of the people and the independence of judiciary will be guaranteed. Is it clear? So there should be there will be no pressure of any feudal system or any government specific official person upon the judiciary, and judiciary and judges will be independent, and they will take their decisions independently. Is it clear? So these are all the salient features of objective resolution. And if you have any question for these specific salient features, you can ask me in the chat box. If you have any question, you can ask me in the chat box. Now, after that, we will discuss the uh, fall of East Pakistan. And first of all, make sure that all the concepts of objective resolution are clear in your mind. And if you have any question, then you can tell me in your chat box. Okay. Beta Abdurrahman, it means necessary safeguards mean necessary actions, important actions will be taken. यानी इसका मतलब है कि नेसेसरी सेफ गार्ड्स का मतलब होता है कि हिफाजती इकदाम किए जाएंगे पहले से। अगर किसी के बारे में है तो वो हिफाजती इकदाम किए जाएंगे। अगर कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है तो उसके लिए ज़रूरी तमाम तरीके इख्तियार किए जाएंगे किसी भी चीज़ को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए। Okay, Fatma, thank you. And Maida, all these questions are important, which I'm giving you in the um, yeah, I'm giving you in the RTs, and everything is important basically in these two chapters. And I'm also taking the online classes of these specific questions, which are important specifically in the board's point of view. Is it clear? और मैं बोर्ड के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी आपको वही पढ़ा रही हूँ। रीइंफोर्समेंट क्लासेस भी उन्हीं टॉपिक्स की ले रही हूँ जो बोर्ड के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से भी बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट हैं। So be focused towards your lectures and dates and events specially. So if you will see any type of dates and events, you have to underline these specific dates, and you have to prepare a specific line according to the date. Is it clear? So it will help you in the in your exams, in your board exams specifically. The dates and events, the question dates and events is not important for the board's point of view. It means कि वहाँ पर dates and event का question नहीं आता, लेकिन dates and event का question या dates and events आपको इसीलिए prepare करवाए जाते हैं कि आप उसमें इसको अच्छी तरह से आपको सारी डेट्स याद हो जाएं। तो वो शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस हों या लॉन्ग हों या किस फिलिंग द ब्लैंक्स हैं या एमसीक्यूज हैं, किसी भी सूरत में आए तो आपको ऑब्वियसली उसका इवेंट उस डेट के साथ याद होगा। So, fall of East Pakistan. First of all, I will give you a very short introduction to you. Pakistan came into being, as you know, on 14th August 1947, and it came into when it came into being, it was divided into two parts: East Pakistan and West Pakistan, and it remained one country till the separation of East Pakistan in 1971. So you you have to underline this specific line. And You can write the specific event according to this date. As you know that Pakistan came into being on 14th August 1947. So at the time of the at that time, Pakistan, when Pakistan came into being, Pakistan was divided into two parts, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. So it remained one country till the separation of East Pakistan till 1971. Is it clear? So first of all, we will discuss the causes of fall of East Pakistan. Why Pakistan? You can see the last line. Why Pakistan remained one country till the till the 1971, and why Pakistan became separate from East Pakistan. So we will discuss the question why, एंड यानी कि क्यों, क्यों को डिस्कस करेंगे और कुछ कॉजेज ऐसी देखेंगे कि क्यों पाकिस्तान का एक पूरा इतना बड़ा हिस्सा सेपरेट हो गया और वो ईस्ट पाकिस्तान से बांग्लादेश बन गया. इज इट क्लियर? सो we will discuss first of all the causes of the specific. Okay. So causes of what were the basic causes of the fall of East Pakistan? So first of all, we will discuss the causes of uh, Beta Bangladesh was came into being in 1971, but Pakistan recognized Bangladesh specifically in 1974. वो बन तो 71 में ही ज़ाहिर है, ऑब्वियसली जो हम पढ़ रहे हैं यहाँ पर भी अभी हमने पढ़ा कि पाकिस्तान बांग्लादेश कब सेपरेट हो गया पाकिस्तान से इन 1971. और तो जाहिर है जब वो सेपरेट हुआ तो विद द नेम ऑफ इट केम इनटू बीइंग विद द नेम ऑफ बांग्लादेश, बट पाकिस्तान recognized it in 1974 स्पेसिफिकली. तो कोई मुल्क किसी मुल्क को कभी भी रिकग्नाइज कर सकता है उसके बनने के 10 साल बाद, 12, 15, एक दिन बाद, 2 दिन बाद. तो वो उसको हम आज़ाद होना नहीं कहेंगे. आज़ाद का मतलब है या वो सेपरेट हो गया था बेसिकली, वो 1971 में हो गया था. और अगर उसकी रिकग्निशन का आपने देखना है तो वो आपका पेज 46 पर है, रिकग्निशन ऑफ बांग्लादेश. तो उसमें भी आपको आपका क्वेश्चन समझ में आ जाएगा. So, open your books, and first of all, we will discuss the causes of the fall of East Pakistan, and these are first four causes of East Pakistan. So, I will give you an overall review of these causes because I have already told you in the physical classes and virtual classes in detail into two parts about the causes of what were the causes of fall of East Pakistan. So we will take an overall review of these causes. So सबसे पहले जो था वो geographical location of East and West Pakistan. So all of you know very well that the distance between the two parts of Pakistan was more than 1600 kilometers separated by India. The distance between the there was a distance between the two parts, East Pakistan and West Pakistan, and this distance was about 1600 kilometers, and in between of these two parts of Pakistan, there was the Indian area, or so you can say that the 1600 kilometers separated by and these two parts of Pakistan were separated by India. through the distance of 1600 kilometers. So the people of both the parts could not come closer to each other. So this created misunderstandings among the people of East and West Pakistan. So underline first four lines of your first paragraph or first heading on page 43. Is it clear? So second one, so you can see that there was a very big distance between the East Pakistan and West Pakistan, almost 1600 kilometers of distance by India. So the people of both the provinces could not come closer, and there were lots of the misunderstandings between in the minds of in the peoples of from the both sides. So differences in the social structure, differences in the सोशल स्ट्रक्चर. अब क्या था कि इनके सोशल स्ट्रक्चर्स में, यानी इनकी ट्रेडिशंस में, इनकी रवायात में बहुत ज़्यादा आपस में फ़र्क था. It is true that both parts are Muslim provinces and majority of the people are Muslims, but the traditions are different. So the problems of the people of both the provinces were different, and they could not develop understanding with each other, as I told you. So the officers belonging to East Pakistan were more friendly and closer to the people, and they tried to solve the problems of their people. On the contrary, the officers from West Pakistan, when they posted in the East Pakistan, so keep in mind East Pakistan means the specific area which was came into being later with the name of Bangladesh. So the people, the local officers of any official institution और any किसी भी इदारे के जो वहाँ के अपने ईस्ट पाकिस्तान के ऑफिसर्स थे, they were very friendly. Why they were very friendly? Because they have the same Bengali language, they have the same traditions and customs of East Pakistan. But when any other official came there from West Pakistan, and he was appointed there, so the language was different, traditions were different, problems were different. The people, the officials which came from the West Pakistan couldn't understand the problems of the specific local persons at once. यानी वो जब आते थे तो अचानक से या एकदम से वो अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स उनकी लैंग्वेज को नहीं समझ पाते थे, जो वेस्ट पाकिस्तान से आते थे ईस्ट पाकिस्तान में. तो हमारा सारा फोकस जो है वो ईस्ट पाकिस्तान के बारे में रहेगा इस पूरे लेक्चर में. तो ईस्ट पाकिस्तान सेपरेट हुआ था ना, तो जब वेस्ट पाकिस्तान से लोग आते थे, देवर नॉट बंगालीज, उन्हें बंगाली नहीं आती थी, दे स्पोक उर्दू, एंड ऑल्सो दे हैव डिफरेंट एटमॉस्फेयर, दे हैव डिफरेंट ट्रेडिशंस एंड कस्टम्स एंड प्रॉब्लम्स, बट देयर आर डिफरेंट कस्टम्स एंड प्रॉब्लम्स. सो आपस में वो जिसे कहते हैं ना इंटरमिंगल्ड नहीं हो पाते थे, उनके डिफरेंसेस दरमियान में रहते थे. So the officers from the West Pakistan, when they posted in East Pakistan, had a different attitude towards the people. So they maintained a distance from the people. So but जो वहाँ के officials थे, local officials, they didn't maintain any type of distance with the people. So but the West Pakistani officers maintained a distance from the people. So this created a misunderstanding and hatred against West Pakistan among the people of East Pakistan. Then after that, martial law was imposed, and imposing of martial law created a sense of deprivation. It means नाउमीदी की एक फिजा कायम हो गई among the people of East Pakistan, because martial law was not considered a good rule of government, and it is also Today also it is not considered a good government. So people became hopeless and disappointed that they will not grow in the under this rule of law, under this martial law. So they were disappointed as well. And General Muhammad Ayub Khan accused politicians that they were responsible for the failure of parliamentary system of government, whereas the public leaders believed that martial law were the real obstacle mean hurdle, hurdle यानी कि मुश्किल खड़ी कर दी थी मार्शल ने इन द वे ऑफ एस्टेब्लिशिंग द पार्लियामेंट्री सिस्टम. सो एक दूसरे पर सब इल्ज़ामात लगा रहे थे. मार्शल लॉ लगाने वाले कह रहे थे कि पॉलिटिशियंस जो हैं वो डेमोक्रेसी को नहीं संभाल सके, इसलिए हमें मजबूरन मार्शल लॉ आर्मी की हुकूमत लानी पड़ी. और जो पब्लिक थी, पीपल ऑफ द ईस्ट पाकिस्तान, वो कह रहे थे कि मार्शल लॉ आने की वजह से अब हम प्रोग्रेस नहीं कर सकेंगे. सो देयर वाज अ ग्रेट लैंग्वेज इशू देयर. वहाँ पर ज़ुबान का था. द फेडरल गवर्नमेंट्स पॉलिसी ऑन द इशू ऑफ ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज वाज अपोज्ड बाय द पीपल ऑफ पाकिस्तान, ईस्ट पाकिस्तान. और उन्होंने कहा कि देयर शुड बी द लैंग्वेज ऑफ बंगाली. और इस पर बहुत सारे जलसे जुलूस भी हुए, जबकि फेडरल गवर्नमेंट जो है वो ज़्यादा उनके दरमियान और पीपल इनके दरमियान, बंगालीज़ के दरमियान लैंग्वेज का इशू भी आ रहा था, क्योंकि वेस्ट पाकिस्तान की लैंग्वेज उर्दू थी, इनकी बंगाली थी. और फेडरल गवर्नमेंट कहाँ थी, वो तो वेस्ट पाकिस्तान में थी. तो लैंग्वेज के बहुत सारे इश्यूज आ रहे थे, जो एक दूसरे की बात को, एक दूसरे की सेंसेस को, कॉन्सेप्ट्स को अंडरस्टैंड करने में प्रॉब्लम दे रहे थे. देन प्रोविंशनल एटोनॉमी, यानी इसमें भी मसला आ रहा था. क्या आ रहा था, सूबों को जो इख्तियारात दिए जाते हैं फेडरल गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, ईस्ट पाकिस्तान को लग रहा था कि उनके यहाँ ज़्यादा प्रोग्रेस नहीं हो रही, उनके सूबे को उतने इख्तियारात नहीं दिए जा रहे. ईस्ट पाकिस्तान वांटेड कंप्लीट प्रोविंशियल एटोनॉमी. एंड क्या चाह रहे थे कि ईस्ट पाकिस्तान की हमारा बिल्कुल इंटरफेरेंस ना हो. एंड दिस डिमांड वाज नॉट एक्सेप्टेड टिल इंडिया हैज़ अटैक्ड ईस्ट पाकिस्तान. एंड हैड दिस डिमांड बीन एक्सेप्टेड अर्लियर, ईस्ट पाकिस्तान वुड नॉट हैव सेपरेटेड. सो पाकिस्तान, वेस्ट पाकिस्तान चाह रहा था कि ईस्ट पाकिस्तान इतने सीवियर या इतना इस तरह का सीरियसली नोट पर ये अपनी इख्तियारात ना मांगे, बल्कि उस वक्त जो फेडरल गवर्नमेंट थी वो चाह रही थी कि वो दोनों सूबों में थोड़ा सा अपना होल्ड रखें ताकि प्रोग्रेस कर सकें. सो इकोनॉमिक डेप्रीवेशन एंड प्रोपोगेंडा, इंडिया वाज गोइंग टू मेक अ प्रोपोगेंडा देयर. यानी इंडिया जो है वहाँ पे कॉन्स्पेरेसीज कर रहा था. इंडियंस वर बिजी इन मेकिंग कॉन्स्पेरेसीज. एंड और वो इस वजह से वो लग रहा था उन्हें कि वो इकोनॉमिकली बहुत ज़्यादा डिप्राइव हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा मायूसी का शिकार है, और वहाँ पर प्रोग्रेस नहीं हो रही. रूल ऑफ हिंदू टीचर्स, इसके बारे में भी मैंने बताया था. देयर वर मैनी टीचर्स हुज आर हिंदूज. मतलब प्रोफेशन तो बहुत अच्छा था टीचर्स का, कोई भी पढ़ा सकता है, माइनॉरिटी मेजोरिटीज़ को पढ़ा सकती हैं, मेजोरिटी माइनॉरिटीज़ को. बट देयर वाज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ, देयर वर वेरी टाइप ऑफ मैनी टाइप ऑफ कॉन्स्पेरेसीज देयर. सो हिंदू टीचर्स जो थे वो इंडियंस की कॉन्स्पेरेसीज को फॉलो कर रहे थे, क्योंकि वो वहीं से आए हुए थे, और वो उनको थोड़ा सा उकसा रहे थे वेस्ट पाकिस्तान के लिए. इंटरनेशनल कॉन्स्पेरेसीज भी चल रही थी. रशिया जो था वो इंडिया के साथ था और कॉन्स्पेरेसीज बना रहा था कि पाकिस्तान से ईस्ट पाकिस्तान अलग हो जाए. शेख मुजीबुर रहमान's majority in elections of 1970, and they got 160 seats out of 169. Military action in East Pakistan was took, and Indian attack. And at last, India attacked on East Pakistan, and at the end, East Pakistan became separated. Yes, 167 seats. Yes, very good, Bilal. Okay, that's all for today. If you have any question, then you can ask me. We have 1 minute. And you can tell me that all the concepts are clear in your mind now. Hurry up, beta. If you have any question, you can tell me. Otherwise, that's all for today. And you have to learn these two questions very keenly. Underline all the important lines which I told you in my slides. Okay, that's all for today. Take care. Allah Hafiz.